Okay, thanks for your patience. This is the Technology Committee meeting, September 26th. Mr. Strobel and Ms. Leone are not here. I'm Mrs. Olafson. I'm going to chair the meeting in Mr. Strobel's stead. Mr. Rittenhouse is here. It will be on the agenda for him to be officially named as a member of this committee, but he's here to listen and see how we do stuff. So, moving on to first item I've got here is unified communication system.
All right. Just a couple project updates to kind of wrap up from over the summer as we prepare for new discussions next month. So yes, unified communication system. So that was our phone system updates, our video conferencing. So that is fully in use at this point for the school year. When we last talked, the phone system had been deployed, but the video conferencing was coming online. That's fully online. We've had about 1,800 meetings so far this year, so a decent number, not quite as high as last year, obviously, but we're actively using that system in a pretty substantial way. About 30,000 phone calls, so we have a good test base to feel we're solid in our configuration, and that will really be our final update on that system. We'll continue to grow into it over the years, but from a project completion standpoint, we feel that we're in a good spot with that one. Moving down the list for StopFinder, so that is the app to share transportation information. So data has been imported into that app. We're in what I'll call a cooling off period right now, just to make sure none of the data imports have disrupted any data. So we're just observing for any oddities in regard to that data. So far none have been identified, at which point the next step is going to be beta testing. So we will identify some users to start testing it out, make sure data looks as we expected, and barring no issues there, we'll move on to full-on rollout. So their recommendation is beta testing for about 2 to 3 weeks, so we're probably looking at it in an October timeframe as we start officially launching this, and they prefer to do it in a staged manner.
Who's going to pick the beta universe?
So we'll have to identify those users. Typically,
we want to pick from all buildings.
Yeah, I will say when we've done similar tests like this, we try to look for any employees who may have students in the district, just because we have ease of communication with them to identify issues. Certainly, anyone who's had particular issues that we think may be resolved by the whatever system we're using, we try to identify them. But
like with multiple stops and things like that.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
So we'll work with Mr. Withers on identifying a key beta test, but that's historically how we've identified.
We thinking like what, about 100 people,
I don't
or maybe even less?
necessarily need to go to that size. We'll go on there.
Yeah, because we have what, 3,000 families? No, probably 2,700 families.
Yeah. Usually we pick a couple dozen just to keep it, and then grow the sample size if we see no issues, but rather than unleash something in a large audience, we're trying to go small and grow out.
All right.
And last but not least, cybersecurity awareness. So just on our ongoing efforts to ensure security of our systems, we're about to start rolling out brief monthly professional development for our users. This will be in the form of brief online, I'll call them courses, about 5 to 10 minutes in length. We're doing it for 2 reasons. Number one, just a general information sharing, presented to be up to date. The other piece is moving towards a compliance standpoint. So we rolled out multi-factor authentication last year based on requirements for our cybersecurity insurance. This similarly, I believe, is going to become a requirement of cybersecurity insurance. So each year we fill out a questionnaire, what security measures do we have in place, what do we not, and cybersecurity training has become a frequent one that we see on these insurance.
There were some pretty sophisticated phishing attacks at other school districts in the area, right? Okay.
Yes, Chester County in particular just released information for their school districts that's been forwarded out to the area regarding attacks. So we continue, that is a prime focus for us, and we believe we're positioned well, as well as we can do, but we'll always be vigilant. This will just be another layer to keep it in the forefront of people's minds. That these kind of messages could come through. Certainly, I do not want to see any sort of attacks here.
The board members have an email as well. I kind of think that we should probably be on the list of people to be educated.
So you will. It will be anyone.
Yeah, that's what, I mean, because in the past, we've just talked about, hey, don't be dumb with your email, but I think it would be beneficial, I think, if we were held to the same standard as the administration and the teachers and all the other staff.
We absolutely will. One joy and a welcoming you to the fun.
Okay.
So those will go out monthly. We will be able to track completion rates and that sort of thing, so we can send out reminders if people can do them. But very brief. And the goal of it being monthly is the intent to be timely. So if there is a particular issue coming up, we can be more responsive to it at that time.
Right. Okay. Moving on to integrated learning.
Yep, basically, project-related questions. Hop down there.
Oh yeah. Do you have any questions on this? Yeah.
No, I don't. All right. So we're off and running on the integrated learning front. So that officially launched at the start of the school year. And we're essentially where we would be for a project of this nature. We're working through any issues that have been identified, whether they're what I'll call actual issues that require resolution from the vendor, or if they're more training issues, things of that nature.
Got it.
Getting people accustomed to it. I'd say nothing startling has come out of it. It's standard affair for us as far as that goes. We took a look at usage today. It's about 53,000 page views a day, so that works out. When we look at 2,000 students, about 25 to 30 hits a day, which that matches up. That'd be what we expect. So people are getting into the system. They are using it. So really, we're at a point that time to start thinking about how do we grow now in the initiative, how do we support as we move forward for this year. That's about it as far as
Okay.
so like I said, next month looking to turn the date and start preparing for things for next school year, next summer. We'll kind of wrap up our conclusion for initiatives this summer.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Do you have any questions?
No.
Yeah. Any questions from the public?
Are you talking about Blackboard?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Yeah, a lot of the teachers and the students haven't been trained on it, and they're very frustrated. So, and I know somebody comes around like a half-hour a week, but they're going to do training on it to help them to be more, they need some kind of hands-on training, because it doesn't seem to be. Every teacher I've talked to, not even just my son's grade, but other grades, are very frustrated.
We started training on this last school year. They had all last year almost monthly training, about 50 hours worth. So we're working through, correct.
All of the ones I talked to were so frustrated.
I think there's always going through things last year, now this year being live. We're certainly trying to be responsive to any issues they had there, but we had about a full year of training for migration, in-service days, that sort of thing.
Yeah, they said they weren't trained the last in-service, and they had 3 days in the summertime when they could come or something, and not all of them could make it.
The summer training was optional, so that was what we'll call, I guess, enrichment above and beyond. But last year, all of the secondary in-service time was dedicated to that.
I just think it's an issue that needs to be addressed from what I'm hearing. You know what I mean?
I do.
They're frustrated. That's all. I just wanted to make sure that there's something in line to get them trained well, so they can teach the kids and not take away from their teaching.
Yeah,
No, I understand. Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah, and our instructional coaches are certainly going around as well, trying to get in directly with the classes to identify any.
Was there a savings on Blackboard? Because usually it's a university college thing. Was there a savings on going to Blackboard from Schoology?
No, it was not a substantial savings. It was basically net even for us.
Why did we go? Because
The reason was the main reason was that what we had at the time, a Schoology it was, right? It was not ADA compliant. There's like things like being able to. If a child has issues with tracking, the system will read to them, having alt text boxes for to tell you what's in a photo if there's a vision issue, that the old system did not offer those things. So if we were thinking it's time to do a new contract, our in our research before we decided on, and we at this meeting and in curriculum and instruction, we're like, I don't want to make a change just to make a change, you know. But we are supposed to,
So Schoology wasn't ADA compliant, really? Because I do think they keep up with the competition.
Yeah, at the time they did not offer. It was not as inclusive,
Okay.
and we.
Now the elementary school's not on Blackboard though.
That's correct. That's correct.
So how do they keep up with the ADA compliance if they're not on?
They have additional software that they.
Okay. I'm just trying to understand.
No, I understand.
Because it's just, yeah.
And I've heard the same feedback, and it is hard for me to know how much of the feedback is based on we haven't learned the system yet, or if it's really that the vendor isn't offering as much to us as they said they were going to. It's hard to know the difference.
Yeah, one person I talked to said that she basically trained them themselves on it, and they're techie, so they liked it.
Yeah.
But the other ones just are frustrated.
And
I just think it takes away from the kids teaching.
It is hard to know yet if we have had some discussions of like, well, do we just need to give everybody a little more time to learn and more enriched training for everyone, or is this really not what we were hoping it would be? But that is, that was the reason for the change.
And
it's not just to do something different.
Right.
Yeah,
Right. So
and-
as a member of, well, that's what I thought. I thought it was, I didn't know ADA or what it was. I think it was
Yeah.
something to keep up.
And
But it seems like they need something one-on-one.
yeah, and as Mr. Matt's indicated, there were 50 hours of training throughout the course of last year's in-service days. Large portion of that was the integrated learning, which stems
They're
from
still so frustrated
stems
about
from
it,
the
so
Blackboard. So we'll continue to train throughout the course of this year on our in-service days, and then also through our instructional coaching model to support our professional staff who's still
I think it should
struggling.
be a priority, whatever we're
Yeah.
doing.
Absolutely.
Or one-on-one. It needs to, just so the kids can, everybody can be comfortable to go over the year, fine,
Yeah,
Easier.
I understand. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any other, after hearing about that, it's, that was not a surprise to hear, that was a parent's concern. So, I'm sure you've heard some similar things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And like I said, it is hard to know how much of it is, we just haven't learned how to use the system yet, and how much of it is maybe this wasn't the right choice, because we all make mistakes. I know
Right,
you
yeah.
don't make mistakes.
Yeah, and that's what we're primarily going through. It's looking through what is an actual issue, what is
Right.
getting to the conflict. So,
Yep.
yeah, that absolutely will continue to be
I
a
just,
priority.
if we're not frustrated, it goes better for the children.
Absolutely.
I could service my kid.
Yeah, absolutely. It impacts instructional time for sure. Okay. Any other questions? Thank you for bringing that up. Okay. We're calling it good. Curriculum instruction starts at 6 o'clock. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thanks.